Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Estate Unfiltered. I'm Riley Russell. I'm a real estate agent based out of Roanoke, Virginia. And this episode, I'm pretty excited for. I know that I say that every single time, but this guest, we finally get to pick the brain of a real estate photographer. She is with Shows Great Photography, Wanda Richards. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you were able to kind of fit me in with your super busy schedule. I see you and your crew doing so many photo shoots. I'm sure you just live and breathe by your calendar, right?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. With my camera in my hand, yeah.
Yep. Oh my gosh. So I I have a boatload of questions, so
Okay,
hopefully I can get to all of them within the 30 minutes, but if not, we'll just have to have you back on.
sounds like a
um,
plan.
But I guess first and foremost, how did this all start? Have you know?
I tell people it was like the perfect storm of. I was a marketing, commercial art, and photography major in college, and as soon as I finished college, I became a realtor because we bought our first house, and I thought, oh, this sounds like fun. So I was a realtor for 20 plus years, and then the market
Wow.
crashed in 2007, and I knew how to do three things, and that was photography, real estate staging, and real estate. So I just combined the three, and we started doing. In the beginning, we were doing mostly staging, and then
Hmm.
we had to take photos of the homes we staged. So that's how the photography end of the business grew. So we've just grown to where we're at now. We last year we photographed over 25. Each year we photograph over 2,500 homes in Southwest and Central Virginia, and we just hope to continue growing.
That's amazing. Well, you're clearly doing something right because I see your stuff everywhere, which I guess comes in handy with the marketing background that you have. But it's also nice that you're not just a photographer first. Like you actually were an agent also, so you kind of
Right,
understand like what's needed
right.
on that side of the house. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I
Um,
keep my license for that reason, and I
mm,
stay. Last year, I was on the advertising committee, so I like to stay up on advertising rules and regulations, so I can keep my agents out of trouble with their photos.
hey, we appreciate that.
Okay, good.
Totally. So I wasn't sure. I know you guys travel a boatload, so everywhere from, the lake to Lynchburg and whatnot. What is the farthest that you've ever traveled in Virginia?
A few years ago, I had a request from a family that I had photographed for in Roanoke, and they were moving to South Carolina. And
Mm.
I actually went to South Carolina and photographed their home there because they hadn't been able to find a photographer there that they liked. So I went down and got to go to the beach and photograph their home. So that was fun.
I,
And we photographed and staged in Greensboro, but mainly we stick to Southwest and Central Virginia.
mhm. Well, that was probably a fun one though. Like you said, you got to go to the beach, so kind of made it like a
Was.
mini vacation out of it.
Yeah, it was. It was fun.
That's awesome. Because I was always curious about that too, because I do some work up in Northern Virginia.
Mhm.
And I mean, the photographers up there are great, but just kind of having like the comfort of knowing your guys' team and
Yeah,
everything is always nice too. But I'm like, that's like 4 hours away. So I don't know if that'd
yeah.
be
Well,
something
just
that you
let me
want to
know. For
do.
the right amount of money, I'll travel.
Yeah. Hey, most people will too. I'm
Yeah,
like, I have my license in all of Virginia. So I'm like, if I can
well,
get in my car and get there, I'll do it.
yeah, that's
um,
good.
That's awesome. So I'm always curious about this. I always ask agents and home inspectors, kind of what is the most memorable house that they've either inspected or shown or something. I'm sure with how many houses you've done over your, career, what's one that sticks out, whether it be like because something you saw that, or, just the character of it.
There's been so many. It's really hard to say because I love homes. I've always loved homes, and I go into a house, and I know I'm always posting a little preview of you should see the house I photographed today, that type of thing. But I don't know that there's one. I know that last year Trey and Ananda photographed the most expensive home that had ever sold on Smith Mountain Lake, and
Oh, wow.
it belonged to the former CEO of Verizon, and that was a really unusual, beautiful home
Mm-hmm.
that they did. But some of my most favorite homes are not big homes; they're small homes. You know, it's just the feel of a home, the
Mm-hmm.
condition of it, the way it's decorated. When you go into a home that makes it fun to photograph, and some of them are they don't have to be big houses, but
Mm-mm.
the big ones are fun too.
Yeah. Some of the houses at the lake, I'm just before I started going to the lake because I'm a transplant. I grew up
Yeah.
in Virginia, went to Radford for college, and
Okay.
met my husband while he was at school at Tech. And so we ended up coming back here. And once we started to go to the lake and stuff, and I was just like, I would have never guessed some of these houses here,
It's
just
unbelievable.
crazy, beautiful, massive,
Yeah.
all the adjectives. But like you were saying, it doesn't have to be a big house to be
Yeah.
really cool. Like the character of Old Southwest. Like I love,
Yeah.
love, love. Like the 10, 1915
Yeah.
houses, and it's just sometimes they don't make it like that anymore.
No, and the
Um,
story behind the house. A lot of times I'll go
mhm,
in these really cool houses and I'll ask the people, what's the story behind this house? Tell me about it. Because it's real important when I'm preparing my marketing for the house. It's
mhm,
like to give the house a personality of its own. And so I always like to know the story. But a very memorable house that I photographed was in South Roanoke, and I don't even remember the street, but it
mhm,
was built during the Depression and when everybody was out of jobs. And
mhm.
they literally every day would go down on the market and hire people, tradesmen, to come up on the mountain and build this incredible house. And the house had only had two owners when I photographed it. And it
Wow.
was just, so all of the original woodwork was there, the original charm and character was there. But to hear the history of how it was built by people that were out of jobs at the time,
Mhm.
um, but that was an interesting house to photograph.
There's one that I think it was last year that I saw you post about that, and I know there's an actual term for it, and it's been a long day, so words are hard. But I think it was like built into the hillside or a cave or whatnot that you photographed last year. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a berm home. It was built into
Yeah.
the
Okay.
side of. It was like three sides of it was underground and one side
Mhm.
was out. That was a very interesting home. Yeah, that one was, and that wasn't a big house, but it was just an interesting house.
And
But yeah,
if you remember, do you remember what city that was in? Was that
that was in Bedford County. That was in
okay?
Bedford County. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Because I've never seen one out this way. Like you kind of see them on HGTV and like,
yeah.
in the Midwest, but
There are
um
several in the area. I think there's one on Bent
oh,
Mountain. There are
okay.
several around here, but yeah, and there are some craftsman homes around here too. They're fun to photograph, and you can find a true Sears Roebuck craftsman home. But there are
Hmm.
some of those around.
Well, I guess that kind of leads me to my next question because I was going to ask you, what is your favorite house, like style, like modern, craftsman, Victorian? What's like the favorite one that you
You know,
love to be able to
that's
go in and photograph?
I like mid-century modern. I like log homes. I like any home that has a personality and character.
Mm,
So it can be new homes that have character, old homes. I just love houses. I've just
hmm.
always loved houses.
Awesome. So, how did you wrangle your kids to do the business with you? Were they always interested in it and were coming along with you whenever you were starting it up, or?
Trey and Ananda did in the very beginning because we all were pretty much the real estate market had crashed. They had gotten laid off from their jobs and they needed work.
Mm.
So excuse me just a minute. What, honey?
Oh, you're fine.
You can get it. Go get your panda. Sorry. It's my
It's
granddaughter.
okay.
It's Inslee.
Aw, aw,
Um,
so cute.
but they needed to work and I needed to work. And we started out staging and houses weren't selling. So we would go in, remove wallpaper, we would paint, we would stage it, put furniture in it, and these houses would sell in just a few weeks after being on the market for months and months. So that's how they started. They started with me taking down wallpaper and painting. Then they evolved to drawing floor plans and photographing. Tyler at the time was working with the family business at the lake, and he would work with us on the weekends and when he got off from work. And then when pandemic hit, he came to work for us, and she's looking for toys.
Oh, you're fine. I'm surprised mine isn't in here right now.
But she's looking for her panda. But
hey, you have to make sure you find that. Does Panda have a name, or is it just Panda?
I think it's just Panda. Pandy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finn has a cow, and obviously it's called Moo Moo, and then he has a pig called Piggy. So very creative over here.
Yeah, Pandy. Yeah. So, but that's really how they all started working with me, and now Dana's starting to work with me some doing the personal branding photos and social media. So.
I love that you also started that too.
Yeah, that's fun.
And so you're doing one at Black Dog. Well, you already did one at Black Dog Salvage. You're doing one at the lake. Any other locations that you're doing it at?
We're looking for some more locations in town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to find some more locations in town. But yeah, just as the need comes up, and then we'd like to expand it. Like if a person has a particular place they have their photos taken, then we'll go on site and do that. But anyway,
awesome.
That's just something, people have relied on headshots for so long, and real estate now with social media has evolved beyond headshots. It's more, it's more getting to know the person, the realtor, the person behind the realtor. So.
Exactly. No, and I need to find time and actually reach out to you because I want to do them, but part of me is like, I want to incorporate my dogs, or I want to incorporate Finn, because I mean, they're just an extension of me, which is kind of like lifestyle branding. But everyone gets to see the crazy mom life I get to enjoy on Instagram and stuff like that. But how has the marketing kind of changed from whenever you first started out to today? I'm sure it's always kind of evolving.
Yeah, well, I pretty much built my business on Facebook. When I started my business, about 78% of our business came from Facebook. So what I would do, I was not the best photographer in town by a long shot. I was probably one of the worst. But I tell people I was the loudest. And all my photos had shows great down in the corner, because at the time that was not an advertising violation. So all of my photos that I took had shows great on them, and I would share them on Facebook. I set up the daily e-blast where we blast them out to the realtors, and we became the loudest with our marketing, and that's how we grew to where we're at now. And it's evolved now to, of course, Instagram and Facebook, but Facebook's still our primary social media platform, just because most realtors have a presence on Facebook. So what we're doing now, though, is we're doing more social media marketing. So we have several realtors that have reached out to us for us to do their social media marketing. So that's a new service that we're offering.
That's awesome. Well, whenever I saw that you guys were adding reels and stuff like that, I was super excited, because that's one thing that I like implementing. Whenever I first started doing them, I was like, oh no, I don't know if this is weird, but you kind of just have to be like, whatever, it might be weird. You just have to do it. Just like, Real Estate Unfiltered. It's like the first couple, little uneasy, not sure, schlepping up. But it's a cool way to kind of show, instead of just like a static picture, show the personality behind it all. I just think that's so cool. And social media on top of that, it's not super expensive, and you don't even have to pay for it if you don't want to.
And people get to know the person behind the brand. And your brand, and that's what your brand is. Your brand is who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And because that's what makes you real. So I show people my grandchildren and my crazy long days and just, the things that I do to make it real.
So I know as a realtor, the mileage on my car is nuts, but I feel like you probably have me beat by a long shot.
Yeah, I was just talking to a couple realtors about that the other day. So I bought my car in September of 2021,
hmm
and it now has 43,000 miles on it. So it's a little over a year
Holy
old,
moly.
and I have 43,000 miles. So uh, pretty much every 2 years, I kind of burn up a car.
hmm Well, I mean, you have to in this line of
Yeah,
work. Um,
yeah. And,
so
and you got to have something you can depend on.
yeah, exactly. Because you might be in the city for, a little bit, and then the next part of the day, you're going to be up at the lake down a
Yeah,
gravel road. So
yeah,
you have to have something
that's
that
it.
can get you there. And plus, I feel like you guys don't really stop too much for like inclement weather either. Um,
No, not really. If it's really raining hard, of course
mhm,
can't do drones in rain. But if
mhm,
it's raining, sometimes snow. If it's a really bad snow, we'll postpone for a few days just because people don't have their sidewalks shoveled, and sometimes you
mhm.
can't get into a house. But we haven't had to worry about that this year. So,
Awesome. Yeah, I'm probably the only person that is hoping that we don't get snow. Like I love the look of it,
yeah,
but I don't want to deal with like a massive snowstorm this year.
yeah,
Like a little bit would be really nice, but
a little
it's
snow would
kind
be
of
nice.
yeah. I always joke, I'm like snow was great whenever I could get like a snow day out of school and not have to
Yeah,
shovel anything. But now that
yeah.
I'm an adult, I have to
You
shovel
have
the
to shovel.
driveway and
Yeah,
like I have to entertain the 4-year-old.
yeah,
So it's always fun.
yeah,
Um, so I had another question for you. Um, but I swear kids take brain cells sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
um, but oh, this is what I was going to ask you. So as far as like whenever the pandemic started, and
Mhm.
that craziness of, you know, just the real estate market in general, how did your business kind of go? I guess
We really
as
had to
in
regroup. Um, when it first started, I started hearing about COVID or at the time, coronavirus in January.
mhm,
And I started trying to order masks and things that I thought we would need, trying to prepare for it. And then we just didn't know how to deal with it. So we actually shut
mhm,
down for about 6 weeks.
mhm,
And um, then when we came back in mask and shoe covers. We'd ask everybody to be out of the house, and
mhm.
we was just ultra careful. And that's pretty much how we did it. But we got really busy. We were really busy because people couldn't go in houses. So the market got really crazy during that time.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah. And that was kind of I wasn't sure how business went for you because I know for a lot of home inspectors, it kind of dropped off because
yeah,
it was always a bidding war and,
yeah.
to do it really quickly. So I wasn't sure if, um, you know, you didn't have a ton of time to get all the pictures done or you had to offer a quicker turnaround on getting them all edited.
That's when we started during the pandemic, doing the 24-hour delivery, which is it's less than 24 hours. Usually, our photos go out the morning after we photograph,
Mhm,
and we hired a team of editors. So we come in, we upload our photos when we get in the afternoon, and then the editors work overnight, so they have our photos ready the next morning to go out. So that's how we tried to get them out faster. I added the third photographer so we could get out.
mhm.
People didn't have to wait because there was a time people were waiting on us 2 to 3 weeks to get us into a house. So now with three full-time photographers, we can pretty much get in within a few days. We try to.
Awesome. Well, and that's one thing kind of going off of like editing and getting it all squared away to us. The one thing I do appreciate about you guys is that you real estate photographers are very good at making things look a little bit better than what they
Yeah.
might actually be. But every house that I've seen that you guys have photographed, it's really true. Like the pictures are true to what it is, which I
We
appreciate.
try. Yeah, we try.
Um,
Sometimes people will say, well, the house looks bigger in the photos, but that's a wide angle lens because
mhm,
you're you're selling real estate. You're selling, people want to see the whole room, not just a
mhm,
small corner of the room. So,
mhm.
but we
No,
try to
but
keep it realistic. But we don't change the grass to green because that's an
mhm,
advertising violation, and you see that so often, the bright green grass. Um, and so we try to keep it as real as possible, but also enhance it so it looks good.
mhm. No, I
So,
and
and I'm a stickler for going in and, trying to refold towels or remake up somebody's bed, that type of thing.
mhm. Well, and going off of like the advertising violations, is there any violations that you think are, folks don't know about that are actually pretty common that you see?
Well, we get asked to change the color of the water at the lake, and
Mm,
that's an advertising violation. We get asked, of course, to change the grass. We get
mhm,
asked to change paint colors, or if it's got a bad place on the wall, like a paint color
mm,
doesn't match, we are asked to change that. And those are things we can't do. We can't change things like that. We
mhm.
can remove. We've gone into houses where there's so much crap in them that
Yeah.
we can remove that because that doesn't stay with the house. So we can do clutter removal.
Mhm,
We can virtually stage a vacant house. So stuff like that we can do. But you know, as far as changing the physical nature of the house or the property, we can't do that.
mhm. Yeah. So, kind of changing topics slightly. Um, what is, throughout your career doing this right now, I'm sure you have a long way to go because it seems like you're super passionate about this. But what is, maybe one mistake that you might have made or whatever that you really learned the most from? Um,
I think as a real estate photographer, we'll all say missing a room when you're
mm,
photographing a house. We've all done that. And when my photographers that work for me, when they do it the first time, it's like, that's okay. We've all done
mhm,
it. We'll go back and reshoot it. That's not a big deal. But my worst one was one day I had gone to Lynchburg to photograph a house that really needed to be done. So I went at the end of the day, photographed it, and I missed a bedroom. So I had to drive all the way back the
oh my
next
gosh.
day to shoot that bedroom because
Yeah.
it was my responsibility. I missed it, so I had to go back and shot it for her. But so I try to be careful. So what I tell everybody is walk through the house and photograph the house in the way you come into the front door, the way you're going to walk through the house. If you jump from room to room, or if you're talking to the homeowner or the realtor and they want you to go from this room to that room, you're going to miss a room. So
Mhm,
you've got to keep a pattern, and you've got to. Sometimes I'll turn off the lights in a room when I'm finished, so I know I've already done that room. But that's
mm,
the biggest thing is missing rooms. But the funniest thing I've ever done was I was photographing a house in South Roanoke one time, and we do multiple photos, multiple brackets. We shoot three brackets, three
mhm,
different light exposures. So the homeowner decides that in the middle of my series of photos, she is going to turn the lamp off beside the bed. She didn't like the lamp on. So she darts out in front of the camera, turns the lamp off. And so I reshoot it, got my three brackets. But when the next morning when I added the photo, I added the wrong photo. So it looks like this ghost floating through the air where she's caught in those brackets. So the realtor calls me and she says, did you know there's a ghost in that picture? I said, oh no, that's my fault. That's the owner. So I fixed it. But
That would have been so funny though if that had been, gone live in like October, like right by
yeah,
Halloween.
it went live. I'm not sure if it was what time of the year, but it did go live. But it did go live before we caught it. And speaking of ghosts, I was photographing a house in Hunting Hills last year, And the homeowner, and I never could figure out if he was serious or if he was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of pulling my leg. But he said, "Now I want to tell you, when you photograph, if you see a little girl in a white gown, that's our ghost." He said, "The pool guy saw her today looking out the window at him, and she won't harm you. She's fine." I have never shot a house so quickly and got out of there so quickly
Cool.
as when I shot that house.
Yeah, I mean, even if someone is kind of warning you, like, it's okay, I'd still be
Yeah.
like, are you sure though? Because like maybe she likes you, and maybe she's not gonna like
But you might
me.
not like me. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the reason I got out quickly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that one would probably I'd probably go quick. There's been a couple houses where like the basements in older homes, I'm
Yeah.
just
Creep
like,
me out.
I don't know. I don't know. A lot of my clients too, whenever we're seeing that stuff, I have one that it was pretty funny. He was just like, I don't need to go down there. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, no, I'm good. I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad I don't have to do this. Like, I'll do it for
Yeah.
you. I don't really want to, but I will
Yeah.
do it for you.
Yeah.
um, oh my gosh. Uh, there was a house that I feel like you'd be pretty interested to see. It was over off of Mud Lake, actually. That it looked like it had kind of like a bomb shelter built into the basement. Um, that
Yeah.
was pretty cool
I
with
have
like a
photographed some of those before.
mhm.
Yeah.
There. I had never seen one before, but like I think it was like a late 50s, early 60s house.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, what is it? Oh, so I mean, it'd be really cool that they could like renovate it into like a wine cellar or like a
Yeah.
cigar room or something really
Yeah.
cool like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I photographed a couple that had hidden rooms, safe rooms,
ooh,
and one was hidden behind a bookcase, and it was, it was completely set up to be a safe room in a house. So it was really interesting. And then one time we were photographing at the lake. I was photographing with my older son Trey, and he
mhm.
opened up this closet and he said, "Mom, don't go in there. Don't look." I said, "What is it? You don't want to know. Just don't go in there. I did the floor plans. Don't photograph it." So of course I have to see what it is.
Yeah,
And
if someone says that, you have to.
they had all these sex toys hanging in the closet. It was all.
I mean, I
So I
feel
didn't
like that's
photograph that.
I feel like that's kind of like real estate initiation though. Like
Hmm.
you have to find like underwear on their
Oh
doorknob
yeah,
or, some type of picture that's suggestive
yeah,
or, something like it it's just part of how it goes. Because you're also
yeah.
photographing people's homes. Like
You are
it's
the way they live.
where they're comfortable.
Yeah,
Um, Sometimes though, I'm not sure if like, someone's just trying to mess with you. Um,
yeah,
but I feel
yeah,
like it's a 50-50 shot.
yeah. We did one a couple of years ago that the um, realtor had said, "Now the front door will be unlocked. Just go on in. They're not going to be there to photograph." And this one was at the lake too. All the interesting ones seemed to be at the lake. But I opened the door, and I always yell when I go in. I know it's an occupied house, and I just said, "Photographers, we're here to photograph." Well, I could see into the master bedroom from the front door, and there was a man in the bed, and he wasn't moving. And I kept yelling,
Oh
and he
no.
wasn't moving. So I walked a little bit closer to the bedroom and saying, "Photographer," he didn't move. So I told Trey, I said, "I think he's dead. Let's just back out." So we backed out, shut the door, and I called the listing agent. I said, "You need to check on your seller. I think he may be dead." She called back laughing. She said, "No, he's just a heavy sleeper. He's not dead."
Oh my gosh. I thought you were gonna say that it was like a mannequin in the bed or something like
No, it
that.
was a real man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you also never know too, like it's better to be safe than sorry and like let someone
Yeah.
know and
Yeah.
and then like wonder, should I let someone know? Or, you
Yeah.
actually find out later that there's an issue. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine. That's always fun too, whenever you're expecting that no one, the seller's not going to be home and you're told that by the
Yeah.
agent and then you go and you walk in, which, it's just best, like you said, like to say, hi, I'm here, I'm so and
Yeah.
so with, showing your house. But just last week, someone wasn't supposed to be there. We're walking in, just chatting away, and then I'm like, "Oh, wait, someone's cooking dinner."
Yeah.
And I didn't know that that was happening. So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Fun times.
Tyler was doing one a few weeks ago, and the teenage daughter didn't know he was going to be there photographing. And she had left that morning and left her bed unmade and clothes all over the bed. So he said, I had her clothes in my arms. I'm trying to make up her bed so I can put the clothes back down after I get the bed made up. And she walks in and she said, what are you doing in my bedroom with my clothes? And he said, I'm photographing. She didn't know. He said she wasn't happy.
Oh, oh my gosh. Well, I mean, you should have made your bed and put your clothes away.
That's right. Your house is on the market.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That would be funny though, thinking about it from a teenage girl mindset
Yeah.
though, and like walking in and seeing some random person in there with like messing with
With
your
your
room. You're like,
clothes.
wait a minute, what's going
Yeah.
on? Oh man. But that's just kind of the stuff that agents and photographers do. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to move stuff or you have to clean stuff or,
Yeah.
corral animals or talk with the
Yeah.
seller while the buyers are looking at the property. And, it's,
Yeah.
you wear many hats
You
basically
do.
in
You
real
really do.
estate.
You really do.
Oh gosh. So I guess one question before we end, because I always want to make sure that I'm not hindering anything that you guys are doing, whether it's the home inspector or photographer or other agents. How can agents best help you to be prepared for pictures whenever you're going into an appointment?
We actually have a flyer that we can send to you. You can download from our website that you can give to your seller. But the most important thing is let the seller know what to expect. Um, it's better if they're not there because we're photographing around people. And so often they want to move stuff from room to room while we're photographing. And we miss really good shots when they're doing that. Or we catch a seller in a photo darting from one room to the other. So it's better if they're not there. The house is ready.
Yep.
If you haven't moved the crap before we get there, the chances of you being able to move it while we're there is very slim. And just have the lights on, the curtains open, and the bed's made, obviously,
Hmm.
but just, have it ready for photos. And for the most part, for 90% of the time, we see the homes on the best day that they're on the market. The homeowners get them ready, but then there are others that they don't get any better than the way we see them. It is what
Hmm.
it is. So we
Yep.
just try to make the best of it.
Now, I feel like I either read this somewhere or heard it from someone. Is it true that you want the fans off? Lights on, but fans off?
Lights on, but fans off for still photography, but on for video.
Okay.
Because yeah, with video it's good to have that movement, but
Mhm.
sometimes I'm short, so if the fan's on and I'm photographing, when you turn the light on, I can't reach the fan
Yep,
to get to stop the blades, so the fan's going to be moving in some of my photos. That's just because I
yep.
don't have time to stand around and wait for the fan to stop moving, because usually I'm in and out of the house pretty quickly.
Mhm.
An average size house, I can be in and out in 30 to 45 minutes. A big house is going to take me maybe an hour. And, but for the most part, I tell people I'm old, but I move quickly. So,
Well, you don't seem old. You seem
oh,
young and
thank you.
vibrant. Especially, I
Thank
think
you.
it's the glasses too. I mean,
Okay. Well, I say the glasses hide the wrinkles.
oh, hush.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I feel like for the most part, I'm pretty certain Tyler has done like everything for
I think
me
he has.
except like a handful.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he has done most of yours. I think Trey and
the
Ananda
one at the
did one
lake.
at the lake. Yeah,
Mhm.
they do a
Yeah.
lot of the lake, and Tyler does most of the ones in town. And I'm usually on the road to the far off places. And
Mhm.
the really big houses, the far off places, and the ones, and I have some people that request me,
Mhm.
um, and so those are the ones that I normally do. And we'll
Have there been
actually have homeowners that request us. They go in, a realtor will go in with a particular photographer they want to use, and
Mhm.
we'll have a homeowner that requests us.
Awesome. That's gotta be a good feeling though.
It is. It is it's a good feeling. And a lot of that is from our social media presence. They see us on
Mhm.
social media, but, but that's a lot of it.
Well, I wasn't sure too. This got me thinking, and I know I said one last question, but just
Okay,
kidding.
that's fine.
Um,
That's
so
fine.
has there been a house or a property that you, Trey, and Tyler have kind of fought over of who is going to photograph it, or
No, but we've had a couple that we've all gone to, or we've kind of tag teamed them because they were large homes and we've all gone in to do. But for the most part, I get the good ones when I want to.
I figured,
Because
I
I
was
do the
like,
scheduling. Yeah.
you're the boss, you're the
Yeah.
mom. I figured you'd probably get to have the final say. So
Yeah. I get the good ones.
awesome. Well, I've kept you long enough. Don't want to keep you from your granddaughter and Panda any longer.
Thank you.
But thank you so, so much for joining and being okay with doing this. Guys, if you enjoyed this, please, give it a like, subscribe. There's going to be a ton more of guests that are coming on, and hopefully we can have Wanda back on after she's photographed some more pretty cool houses. But Wanda,
My
thank you
pleasure.
so much.
I tell you, why don't you come along with us one day
Oh my gosh.
and
Well, it's
keep it
recorded,
real?
so I have to
Yeah.
now. Like,
Okay.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
She's coming with me on the road one day. I'm going to keep her all
Oh,
day on the road.
oh my God. You don't understand how excited I just got. So
Okay,
yes,
good.
we're
Just
gonna
let
have
me
to
know
do that.
when. Okay.
And
All
where can
right.
we find you? I'm gonna put it all in the show notes, but are you on
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook,
I
obviously?
am. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. It just shows great photography. Of course, on Facebook, my personal page is Wanda Richards. The business
Okay.
page is Shows Great, and Instagram is Shows Great Photography. So look
Awesome.
for us
Well,
there.
yay. Thank you so much. I guess the next episode we do together is I'm just gonna have a whole like vlog of me going along for a ride along.
So that sounds fun, and maybe we'll have some really exciting houses that day.
Hopefully no ghosts though.
No
I'm good if
ghosts.
we don't
No
do that.
ghosts. No ghosts.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And guys,
Okay.
stay tuned. There's a lot more fun guests coming up. Have a good one.